Cringe anime.
Sucks.
The worst thing I've heard in my life.
Femboy.
No, seriously, that one's not a joke. People like actually are saying that. I don't. No, seriously, you guys are brutal. Like actually, like ridiculously brutal. Like even like I would say just ruthless. I'm gonna use the start of this video to like defend myself really quick because I honestly am really happy with how the lines came out. I think they sound cool. But like a lot of you guys just really seem to like hate them. And a lot of you guys just really seem to hate me. Like this one guy who said the only thing that I could have done right is not do the voice acting. I mean, well, like first of all, fuck you. Second of all, this guy also said that I have a speech impediment and that I have a lisp. Fucking where? The good thing is I'm also getting a decent amount of love and like really kind, positive words, which is really honestly heartwarming to see. Like I'm always happy to see that, you know. But there were a lot of confusing critiques that I just really don't understand that I kind of wanted to talk. Maybe I do have a speech impediment that I kind of wanted to talk about. Jesus fucking. The most confusing one is that my voice doesn't fit the character, which, you know what, that's kind of hard to like disprove or like argue against. If that's how you feel, it's how you feel. That's cool. But I will say, I think given the direction I was given and the voice that I was told to go for, I think I did pretty good. Another thing that's really confusing is people attacking the writing for being too cringe and too anime, which I've obviously touched on kind of in a way. And honestly, I was given an anime character in dubbed like as a reference for like the voice I should go for, so I'm just saying. But another thing that I've seen that's really confusing is people saying that it's either one, not thematically accurate, or two, that the writing of the dialogue doesn't really fit Lord Regent as a character because he's supposed to be mysterious and foreboding and unknown. But that's kind of the point of this update, no? We're going to go see what the unknown is. We're figuring out more about his rise to power and maybe if he can be beaten or not. I think it makes perfect sense thematically and narratively, and honestly, I think that he's written pretty much perfectly for how the character is supposed to act. Even 500 years after his rise to power, the Lord Regent is still a cocky, arrogant asshole who basically treats everybody like a rat if they're not him. And bearing the fact that this is like several hundred years into the past in mind, I also think that his arrogance being played up and that him acting sort of more or less like a kid who's been threatened for the first time and is just lashing out. I think it makes sense. And it's not like this is out of character for the Lord Regent, like everybody is saying, like they just don't match his character, my voice doesn't match the character. Dude, the character is inspired by Gilgamesh and the Lord Ruler from Mistborn. Oh yeah, and Sukuna I think as well, based on like the fight itself. But I don't know, again, I didn't write the lines, I didn't write the character, I didn't make the character, and I probably know about as much about the lore as the average person. But with that being said, I really don't like how fucking whiny everyone's being. If I'm being completely honest, okay, I'll just let my fucking emotions come full forth. Dude, some of you people are just insufferably nerdy and annoying and whiny, and it's just, blah, 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 blah. Bro, listen. If you don't like the voice lines, that's okay. But how are you going to pretend to know more about the character that the devs wrote than them? They wrote the lines, they know how he'd act, and if it were inconsistent with his previous writing, I could understand the complaints, but it's just not because all of his other dialogue in the main game is super cocky, arrogant, and very, very generic anime villain. Hate to say it, but it's just true. And honestly, I think it's cool and fucking epic, so fuck you. Another thing that I keep seeing consistently, and like a bunch of people are saying, so I mean maybe there's some merit to this, but I'm just so confused by people that are saying that my normal voice would be way better for the role than the voice that I did for the role. I don't know what you're smoking, dude. Imagine if the Lord Regent sounded like this. What makes you think you have the right to stand before me? Struggle as you will, but you will never reach the throne. Pathetic. Pathetic. Like, do you see my point, dude? If I did my own voice for the role, like, you guys would just hear dem storms, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not it. Plus, I was given Gilgamesh as an example to work off of. I don't know if I'm, whatever. I don't really care about, like, why would anybody mind if I said that? They wanted me to do a similar inflection to Gilgamesh in the Fate anime dub. Not just that, but people are saying that, like, the voice sounds femboy-esque? Dude, I don't understand. What does a femboy sound like in your fucking head? Now listen, I can understand. Honestly, some of the takes that they used for the boss fight are probably not the takes that I would have used from the raw files, but to be honest, I'm still happy with it, and I think it turned out good, and I think that the Lord Regent sounds fucking awesome, and I had a lot of fun doing the role. I think that's really what matters at the end of the day, but to be honest, it's just some of these comments are so confusing that I had to address them, so yeah. Shout out to all the people that are being very kind, and even shout out to all the people that are leaving just straight up valid criticism, just telling me that they don't like the lines. Like, I don't care about that. That's cool. I'm happy with that. But a lot of these points I just really can't agree with. And like, I get it. Like, you know, you will die. How can anyone be this foolish? You know, it sounds very anime. It sounds maybe even very generic. But dude, like, it's not that bad. Calm down. What did you expect? Poetry? Shakespeare? I just don't understand. Was I supposed to do the edgy, cold, unfeeling, non-emotive voice that everybody seems to have in their head for this character? Because dude, I don't understand where you get that impression. Go ahead and read the dialogue when you first talk to him. He's like, oh, come on, don't be so short. He's like literally being sly, playful. He's acting like just your average fucking person. And that is the thing. Like, people are saying it doesn't make sense narratively, thematically, blah, 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 blah. Dude, I don't understand where you got the impression that the Lord is this edgy, cynical, unfeeling fuck. Dude, he was just a guy who gained enough power to gain control over Etris and give pieces of the land to the drowned gods, which I guess is a really big feat and all, and whatever he did to get that power, I mean, shit, we don't know. Before that, he was just a fucking guy. Any person would go drunk or blind with power if they're given that much power. Maybe not any person, but any evil person, especially somebody as evil as the leader of the ministry, would just end up being that cocky, arrogant, and surprised if they start getting beat. So I think I did a good job portraying all of that, and I think that they did a good job writing the lines to portray that he's getting more and more anxious as you get closer to the throne, as you break it and get him off the throne. Dude, just stop complaining. That's my biggest problem. Stop complaining, because you'll complain for months and months and months and months and months and months that we're not getting enough story-driven content or enough lore content, and then the second that they drop an update that, yeah, maybe it's a little hard, maybe it's a little unforgiving, maybe it's a little bit torturous to play, but this update brought everything that people have been begging for: a story-driven piece of content that actually gives you a sense of progression from start to finish, lets you experience parts of the story that we've never seen before, such as what the world looked like in the past and what the Lord Regent's rise to power looked like. And not just that, but the Lord Regent isn't even like the main big bad of the verse. He's not a drowned god or something. He's just a guy who got too much power and got too arrogant and got in over his head. And we haven't even actually beat him yet. This is just Valve Iron and a memento from the past, and we have no idea what happens after he gets beat, because we don't know if he even does get beat. So the whole goal with these mementos and going up to fight the Lord Regent was to learn how to beat him in the present day, and whenever we get around to that part, it's gonna be fucking peak, okay? So please, calm your ass down, go play the update, go listen to all of the voice lines before you form an opinion, because I know half of those fucking comments in my comments section were based off of the singular, distorted, low-quality audio clip that I played at the start, because it was the only clip that was really public and available, because I know damn well I'm not getting to that fight. That shit, at least not anytime soon. I'm not a PvE demon like some of these guys, like L3_EdNY, who pretty much almost beat it. GOAT, by the way, go check him out. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure you see my point though. That being said, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say in response to the comments from my previous video, so that is about it. Much love to everybody who watched this video. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.